I thought she was dead. We saw her skeleton. But she's back, and she's worse than ever. Vicki! So yeah, let's just throw that Easter egg out the window because Icky Vicki is alive and well, still terrorizing kids like it's 2001. I think A New Wish actually managed to modernize Vicki extremely well. She's still the sadistic, child-hating, tyrant-in-the-making sociopath that we come to know her as, just in a way that feels more 2024. So let's break down what she's been up to since we last saw her in the original Fairly OddParents, and speculate on if she'll end up playing a bigger role in Hazel's story later down the road. And real quick, if you enjoyed the video, then please give it a like and subscribe to the Roundtable so you never miss a video. Definitely got some more Fairly OddParents goodness on the horizon, but with all that said, let's dive in. Vicky's reintroduced in the half-hour episode Operation Birthday Takeback, where she's hired for Dale Dimmadome's birthday party, not by his father, Dale Dimmadome, but instead an AI that Dale used to plan the party for him. Yeah, bro is not a good dad. He doesn't even pop up in this episode for his son's big day, and the reason why is absolutely appalling. But we're talking about Vicki right now. As it turns out, she's pivoted careers from babysitter to party performer, and I think this is for two big reasons. One, the babysitting business dried up for her, as the kids she once babysat are the adults now, and they would refuse to hire her because they know she's terrible, spreading the word amongst fellow parents. And number two, there's probably more money in it for her. Keep in mind that this show isn't set in Dimsdale, it's set in Dimmadelphia. So if Vicki still lives in Dimsdale, then the bag must be pretty hefty if she's making the commute. However, given what happened shortly after her arrival, it's entirely possible that she is still babysitting. It's just one of her many hustles alongside being a party performer. Vicky's always been money motivated. It's the one thing she loves just as much as terrorizing kids. And A New Wish is really leaning into this fact, so neither option would surprise me. Side note, why has she barely aged? I get she was a teenager in the original series, so she's probably in her 30s here, but I was expecting some slight wrinkles or something. Slowly build up to how channel chasers depicted her in the future as a scary supreme leader. Now at first I thought, oh, this is gold. If Vicky's a party performer, then she must be getting tormented by kids instead of the other way around. Oh, how the turntables. But no! The party performer gig is a double scheme! As it turns out, Vicki has been poorly disguising manual labor as party activities, having kids mass-produce things like bracelets so she can sell them on her online store. That's right, Vicki created Temu. Nah, but for real, she basically figured out a way to take her lemonade sweatshop on tour, hijacking birthday parties and taking advantage of bum-ass parents like Dale to traumatize a whole new generation of kids. And speaking of the lemonade stand, Vicky's instantly enamored by the luxurious Dimmadome mansion. But once she learns that it belongs to the twerp she once enslaved, she feels entitled to the premises. It's officially a hostile takeover.
Dale Dimmadome, have you heard of him? Heard of him? I made him! He was the laziest worker in my lemonade stand!
Cosmo, Wanda, and Peri are too busy dealing with the main plot to help out Hazel and Dev, so it's up to the kids to save the day, giving us a fun sequence where the kids hunt Vicki for a change. It's honestly pretty satisfying to see. It healed my inner child. They even played Chip Skylark's iconic Icky Vicki as a little nostalgic cherry on top. A song that she still despises, by the way.
Like that old Chip Skylark song that I've heard my mom play?
Never heard of it.
Ultimately though, Vicky's presence is used to enable some pretty significant character growth for Dev. Up until now, he's had a habit of being a selfish goofy goober, trying to avoid any display of vulnerability, and he's often focused on preserving his own ego. But when Hazel tries to sacrifice herself so Dev can find their fairies, he refuses to leave her behind and he ends up saving her. Yay, Dev redemption arc. Too bad it doesn't last for long. We learn that Cosmo, Wanda, and Peri are all traumatized by Vicki, and Wanda actually confirms that Vicki was the breaking point that led to Timmy getting fairies.
Oh, Vicki being a terrible babysitter is the reason our old god kid Timmy got us in the first place!
And Peri thought Vicki was like a nightmarish creature he conjured up in his head as a baby. He's scared shitless by her presence here. It really feels like the fairies are supposed to be a stand-in for the audience here. Like we all had to endure the horrors that were Vicki and live to tell the tale. Luckily, just like the audience who grew up with the original series, Cosmo and Wanda are the adults in the situation now, and thanks to their human disguises, they're able to tell Vicki off. finally blowing off some steam after seeing how she made Timmy's life a living hell during some of his most formative years.
And you're in big trouble for being so mean to Timmy! Deb.
As Wanda puts it, adults are Vicky's kryptonite. And although she makes a run for it here, I do wonder if she'll pop back up in the future. I feel like there's potential for her to try and weasel her way into the Dimmadome empire after claiming she made Dale. And if Mr. Crocker is anything to go off of, A New Wish wants to keep around the most notable villains from Timmy's rogues gallery. And considering Vicky has beef with kids more than any other villain, it makes sense for her to become more involved down the road if the series gets a second season. Which I hope it does, because fans have been showing it an insane amount of love over the last few weeks. Even though Timmy changed the future at the end of Channel Chasers, I'd still love it if A New Wish gave us an arc where Vicky was still slowly becoming a supreme ruler who's mad with power, just through different means. I think it'd be awesome if things become full circle, and she actually did succeed in usurping Dale Dimmadome and took over his company. That could be how we're introduced to the Vicky bot, introduced at the end of Channel Chasers. All of the groundwork is there, I'm just saying. Speaking of Dale, my dude is up to no good, as Cosmo, Wanda, and Peri stumble upon his top secret room, which contains his plans for Project H. Guess who the H stands for? Dale has been stalking Hazel ever since Founders Day. As it turns out, having fairies that can grant your every wish makes you the perfect representation of anti-consumerism. Also, Cosmo and Wanda get carried away and inadvertently spell out the existence of fairies and the big wand to Dale, which is definitely worthy of a yikes, as it means fairy world's probably going to get invaded by the end of the season. Man, they really are two halves of a whole idiot. Dale's been desperately trying to decipher why Hazel won't buy any products, and Dev does not take it well when he sees all of this for himself. Dale couldn't even bother to commit Hazel's name to his memory. Now he's investing all of his time into figuring her out instead of spending time with his son? Even Dev's birthday couldn't tear Dale away from his research. It's very creepy and very heartbreaking. All of Dev's insecurities and resentments boil to the surface, and after learning that his friendship with Hazel blossomed from a wish she made, he explodes, mirroring the fight they had a few episodes ago. Dev is crashing out, scribbling over his father's plans for Project H, forcing Peri to leave him alone through a wish. It's a dark ending. He's back to square one yet again, more alone than ever before. We'll see where that goes, but let's switch back to Vicky real quick. So if she's alive and still a menace to society, then what the hell is this skeleton floating in the Hocus Pocus? Well, I still think this Easter egg indicates that the theme song is canon, and this Vicky is simply a clone. We know from the original series that fairies can make magic clones of people, so it's not that far-fetched to think that Timmy, in his frustration, conjured up a replica of Vicky to sell the score with, and tortured her with Cosmo and Wanda's magic. It's dark, but therapeutic. Okay, maybe not torture, but making a clone of Vicky and turning her into all sorts of silly, wacky things. Funny for Timmy, not so much for the clone. That wish obviously got undone, as Timmy couldn't have another Vicky around. Lord knows what would happen if Prime Vicky got her hands on another one. But that still means a living copy with its own thoughts and feelings got sent to this void and just rotted away over the course of 20 years. Magic is fucked up, man. Look, we can just write it off as a background gag, but my brain is wired for lore. If I don't make this silly cartoon make sense, I will die. But as always, these are just my thoughts, and I'd love to hear yours. How do you feel about Vicky's return? Do you want to see more of her, or was this enough for a few years? Keep her on the benches until the next reboot. Let us know in the comments down below, and keep the conversation going at AwestruckVox and at Roundtable Vids. If you enjoyed this video, please sure to like and subscribe to the Roundtable for more great cartoon content. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have an awesome day. See ya!